I'm Jessica Patterson of Spinning Shadows Fiber Arts, here today to talk with you about weaving a band. Um, I'm doing a voiceover of this because at the time I was recording by myself with lots of activity going on, and I really didn't have much to say. I'm weaving this band with merino, which is the yellow, which you see me warping right now, and Corriedale that I spun for TDF, or Tour de Fleece, for those of you who don't know. My plan for this band is the border is going to be of this yellow, and the inside is going to be of the Corriedale. This way I can use the yellow for the weft yarn as well, and it will blend in, since I don't really have anything to blend in with the Corriedale. Unfortunately, I bumped the camera several times during this. The stand is right up against the table. And here I push the warp down so that I can put more on. And taking my time tying on the Corriedale and get that warped on. Now for warping for a band, you don't have to use a warping board. You can use 2 chairs or table legs or whatever. This just allows me to measure it out to a specific length. That way I know how much yarn will go, through how many slots in the heddle. I'll talk more about that later. I do apologize for all the times I bumped the camera. That's annoying. And you see my arm a lot. This really wasn't the best camera angle. But the Corriedale, thanks to the spin, it was actually Rolags I made for Tour de Fleece for Crafty Housewife Yarns. The way that it worked out is it sort of is a gradient from one color to the next in the band. I'm measuring it out to be about a 6-foot warp, or 2 yards, for those of you who like to use yards instead of feet. I'm getting to the end there, and I pull it out to see that there's not quite enough to do another loop, so snip it off and tie it up. And yeah, I'm just so fascinating to listen to right now. And I'll put on another band of yellow so that the border will be complete. This is wool, obviously, and it's not spun particularly tight. You can use woolen yarns for weaving a band. The only problem is they like to stick together when you're changing the position of the warp threads, which I'll show that later on in the video. And now I'm getting 2 popsicle sticks with a tie around them and putting them through the cross that was created by the warp. If you're using chairs or table legs or whatever for the warp, you'll want to create this cross because it really helps to keep your warp threads in order when you're threading the heddle. I recently discovered this with making bands, and it really is a lifesaver. But I do apologize for my arm in the way there. And despite my best efforts, I actually missed a couple of threads that I had to fix later. But this really does help a lot. I'm just securing the popsicle sticks with another piece of yarn and lifting it up a bit so I can move the cross further back. I actually end up lifting up quite a bit of the warp so that I can secure it. I take my leftover yarn and cut it. There's really not enough there to do much with, so snip, snip, couple of ties. Woohoo! Ties! Can never have enough of those. I'm just tying the warp up with these threads to make sure it won't go anywhere while I'm threading the heddle and getting everything situated. I mean, I don't know if this is technically the right thing to do. I have not been weaving that much, but it works for me. And with that, I lift up where the cross is and move it back and lift the entire warp off of the board. This is actually a 4.5 yard warping board from the knit store on Etsy. And now I'll show you threading the heddle. Actually had a really funny conversation happening while I was doing this. My 3-year-old was asking what I was doing and asked if we could put ribbons in Daddy's hair after I was done weaving it. So he very emphasized the no to that. Unfortunately, before I shot this, I should have counted how many threads I had, and well, I had to figure out what hole I had started with. So I'm using a sewing sewing hook threader. That's really handy for threading heddles, either if you're doing backstrap or rigid heddle or whatever. These things are lifesavers. I found mine at Walmart for like $2. My 3-year-old's helping. As you can see, thread goes through a hole and also a slot. That's how it creates the different raises and lowers different threads to enable weaving. And as you can see, thanks to the cross from those popsicle sticks, I know which thread goes next. It keeps them in order for me, so I don't end up with a big old tangle. And you can get like a pack of popsicle sticks from the dollar store for $2, $3 maybe, and a couple of cotton ties or acrylic, whatever, and that saves a lot of trouble with weaving bands. Anyway, I'm almost done here. I've got my 2 yellow threads way off yonder, but again, apologize for my hands are always in the way of whatever we're seeing here. But the heddle I'm using, actually, I can talk about the heddle, is the full 4-inch handled rigid heddle from Windhaven Fiber Tools on Etsy, made from mahogany. It's actually really fun to weave with. It was a little difficult to learn at first. You'll see further on in the video it actually flips over if you have the holes up, and but once I found the trick of weaving with it, it works really well, and it's just a fun little heddle for making narrow bands with. And here I'm trying to even up the threads in the front for tying to secure it. Trying to even them out in the back. I'll cut the long threads later for a fringe. Stretching it, trying to even it out again, and there we go. That's warped. Here I'll secure a stretchy band to my industrial skein winder. It's like the heaviest object I own, and it's perfect for weaving bands. And there's the end there that's all neat and tied, and I forget how to do a loop. Yeah, well, that works. So I do a hitch there, put the end through and secure it in place. Make sure that it does not go anywhere at all, ever. Yep, it's secure. There's the heddle, perfect. Now I'm ready to start weaving. For this I have a I-cord and a dowel as the other end that goes around my back, lower back. There's the heddle, and I use a salad clip to secure the band while I'm weaving. I wrap the end around the dowel and clip it with the salad clip, so the two ends are clipped together. My shuttle is loaded with the yellow merino, and there I'm measuring length and start the first go through. Raise the heddle for one. Oh, there it flipped over. So you see the handle, it's a little top heavy, so it flips over. But I seat it back down, and then I ran out of battery. So my husband is actually filming this for me. So I've woven a little bit there with the blade edge of the shuttle. I even up the threads and set it down on my lap. Raise, sink it back down for the next go, and straighten up and pull the shuttle through. And use my fingers to open up the shed. If you use a worsted yarn, you can use the shuttle to bring the threads into place. Anyway, it's really fun. This band is turning out beautifully. I'll do a couple more weavings with the dog and the child in the background. Rose, I forget what we call these, but anyway, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. I hope this wasn't too boring to listen to. If you like this, please hit like and subscribe to my channel, and there will hopefully be more in the future. Anyway, have a nice day.